But guys, let's move on into our next segment, and let's talk about that Cam Reddish that I had mentioned at the end of our steals topic. If you're on YouTube and haven't checked it out, make sure to go check it out. Also, if you have an iTunes account, Apple ID, make sure to rate the Primetime Podcast a 5 stars on iTunes. It really means the world to us and helps us get into the ears of more people. But guys, we're talking Cam Reddish, and mainly what we're focusing on is best fits for Cam. And I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to take your joke from you. You can't say a dumpster because I know you guys want to say it. So there, you can't say a dumpster. Team-wise, though, who is the best fit for Cam Reddish?
I will say, and Dave talked me into this yesterday, and this is if this team does not win the lottery.
Let's talk yesterday?
Dave's like, who did we talk about?
All of our podcasts blend together. Saturday.
I haven't seen you for like a week.
Yeah, today is Thursday, so last Saturday, Dave talked me into this.
Dave's like, was it a text group? Was it a podcast?
No, it was the live. It was the live.
Okay.
We got the telepathy shit going now. That's how much the We Agree podcast is working.
It was the live lotto, and he talked me into it. I think Cleveland would be a very interesting fit for Cam Reddish. I think there's a couple teams that he would fit with, but he's in this weird state where it's like you can't go to a team that is like too good, but like he can't go to the Boston Celtics and play. He's not going to get enough playing time to actually help him develop. He can't go to the Washington Wizards because I think they have too many players that they need to put in to actually try to win. The Knicks are also going to be kind of in that range as well. He can't go to the Bulls because that team already has enough starters. Like he needs to go to a bad team. So that means Cleveland's in there. That means even Phoenix is too like good. Atlanta's also like too good as well. Dave's pointing at it. I'm looking at Cleveland, I'm looking at New Orleans, and I'm looking at Memphis are like his fits.
Yeah.
And even then, I'm worried just saying those three teams.
No, I absolutely love the idea of him going to a team like Memphis because low key they don't get a ton of media presence. So even if he doesn't hit it out of the gates, it's very similar to like Colin Sexton. Where could you imagine if Colin Sexton had been drafted like by the Knicks or some shit, and it was like, man, this kid is getting roasted for how horrible he's shooting. People would have given up on him publicly, and like we had that point where we were even like,
because he's in Cleveland, he doesn't.
And he had that fantastic finish to the year.
I disagree. He would have been great in New York because they just would have run ISO ball, and he would have been killing it from day one.
You know what? Honestly, yeah, that's a fair point.
So,
I forgot
like,
that they don't have an offense.
Yeah, no, I mean, Colin Sexton would thrive in New York because there's no rules.
Might be bad example, but like in a large market.
I know what you're talking about,
yeah. The idea is in a large market.
Let's say he went to Chicago and was kind of taking bad shots and taking shots against
we'd
Zach.
Be like, we
from Zach.
We might as well just play the Kris Dunn. Like he can't shoot, but he at least plays defense.
Yeah. What I'll say is like let's say Kris Dunn stays healthy. The Bulls have a decent shot at being a playoff team. And I think I think you guys believe that.
Yeah.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna put out the best players out there. And Cam Reddish isn't consistent enough, I don't think, in college to be out on the floor. And obviously it was at Duke, he was number 3 recruit. They're not gonna bench Cam Reddish. But in the NBA, when you're trying to win basketball games, you can bench Cam Reddish.
Yeah, you can have a top 10 pick come off your bench.
You can kill his confidence. And I think, Chicago fans aren't too volatile. They're really,
we
fans
want to
of their
love
rookies.
Yeah, we want to love these kids. And like you brought up Hutch, and we were a little off put by
Hutchins
that.
sucks. Valentine sucks.
Valentine comes back healthy will be interesting.
Chicago is also a place.
But the fact that they're both on the board is the point. It's like Cam's just buried on the depth chart. Like,
that's the thing. It's like I just think that Cam can get so buried easily. Yeah. Because you already have Otto Porter there, right?
Yeah, and Otto Porter is a lock at that 3.
Already he's not starting.
Or the 4 if we want to flex.
Already he's not starting. So that means he's going to get like 20 minutes if he goes to Chicago right away.
Tops.
So let's say tops. And then if he continues to play poorly, let's say through 20 games, that's going to be cut down to like 13.
He can get hutched.
And then if he continues to play poorly, he can get Troy Brown Jr.
Oh.
Like out of that lineup. Like I just think that he needs to go to a place where they are expecting to be bad. They are expecting to give their young guys minutes. They are looking for anything to stick. And Cam Reddish can fire up, 10 shots a night and see what works for him. And that's why I'm looking at Cleveland. Because Cleveland, yes, they have Kevin Love, they have Colin Sexton, but they still need guys out there. And Chidi is still a very interesting player, but I don't know if he's like a guy. I don't know if he's a starter.
Yeah.
So he's still a guy that I don't think will
He might be a good
Cam Reddish.
He might be a great glue guy running the bench unit. In my mind, I think that might be his ideal role.
I think Osman's going to stick around. In the NBA, but he's a guy that you can pull back minutes from and still give minutes to Cam Reddish. Atlanta's a little iffy too because you look at like Taurean Prince.
They're one of mine that would be a really good fit for him.
They got 2 picks.
I disagree. I mean, they have 2 picks, which is
That's
big.
the only,
they could take a chance on him, but they still need to give him those minutes.
Yep.
And Atlanta's weirdly enough, if they win the lottery, they get Zion. That team could be dangerous. Like Trae Young, already Rookie of the Year, putting up 20 points per game, can pass like crazy. You have Zion, who could most likely put up 18 points coming in and as a rookie. John Collins can already do that. Kevin Huerter's a great shooter. Taurean Prince is already a decent starter in the NBA. Dwayne Dedmon's a veteran. And if you add Cam Reddish out there, and this team starts winning,
then you add in Amari Spellman, who played pretty well at the end of the last year.
Bazemore as well. I mean, he's still on the team.
Surprisingly.
So I mean, there are guys on this team that can really push down Cam Reddish. Like if they're that's the thing is I know Cleveland's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
I know New Orleans, if they trade away Anthony Davis, they're going to be bad.
Yep.
Well,
I know Memphis is just gonna be bad in general.
Well,
You think Memphis is getting a playoff spot in the West?
No.
But so they're gonna be bad.
No.
Dave's like, I am back to being the defender of Memphis.
Look. If your answer is if you're not in the playoffs, you're a bad team, then yes, they would be a bad team. I don't think they're a bad team next year. I think it's.
You don't think they're
depending on what
top
they
5.
do with Mike Conley, we'll answer that question.
What I'm saying by bad team is you can let players make mistakes.
Oh yeah,
because you're not looking to make the playoffs.
This team brought Bruno in. They took a chance on Bruno, and it turned out fantastic.
I'm not saying Memphis is a desolate team that's not going anywhere. I'm just saying they are a team that can give Cam Reddish time to make mistakes. Cleveland is a team that can give him time to make mistakes. New Orleans, if they trade Anthony Davis, can give him time to make mistakes. Those are the 3 big teams for him. Atlanta, they're looking to really see what they have because I think in 2 years they can be a team that can push for a playoff spot.
Is Cam Reddish in the Warriors roster lineup though?
Is he the Andre Iguodala?
I mean, the thing I go with, and this is, yes, a little bit of an older article, but it's from soaringdownsouth.com. Writer is Chris Guest, so I want to give him credit for writing it. He puts at the end of his article, because talking about how the Hawks could be potentially the best fit, he says, as a lanky, sweet-shooting wing for the Hawks, this team would have a secondary ball handler and playmaker to go along with the more dominant style of Trae Young. Reddish would be unleashed in Atlanta. What is exactly why I'm going to get this name wrong. Sam Vicente of the Game Theory podcast discussed the Hawks as the best potential fit for Reddish on the recent Real GM radio podcast with Danny LaRue, I think is.
They're actually a pretty good listen.
But I mean, that to me is also another thing of
listen to a different podcast. You have no reason to.
The thing that I look at with Cam Reddish.
No other podcasts exist.
We are the most valuable podcast.
That's like if we're at a Coke meeting and Pepsi's like, oh, I mean, Coke Vanilla is pretty good.
We do know that vanilla Coke is way better than vanilla Pepsi.
But is it orange vanilla Coke?
Orange vanilla. I have yet to get a can, but I am intrigued to no end.
It's okay.
Is it like a dreamsicle
Yeah.
And then I would be in love. I would get a case.
Yeah, and bring it back to the Hawks and Cam Reddish.
I don't drink pop, so.
Hey, Atlanta.
Yeah,
the headquarters.
Atlanta.
There you go.
I just feel like that could be a good. And how you guys were saying, if he needs to be a second unit guy his first year, he can do that in Atlanta. And Atlanta, unless they get Zion, are not going to be a team that's man, we're going to make the playoffs. He could be a
first unit guy on that team.
No, I don't. Cam Reddish needs to be a first unit guy.
Well, no, I'm saying first year could be, even if he starts second unit and then goes into the first unit. Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Atlanta, though. I don't think he'll be the first unit right away because they have Prince already.
I know. That's why I'm saying I don't think Atlanta would be a good fit for him because you need to start him because you need to see what you got in him. You need to build up his confidence.
His chutzpah.
You need to throw him out there for 82 games starting and just be see what you can do, kid. We don't care if you suck.
Exactly. I agree. I think he's got to let it run its course because we saw him playing a system and we all on that end where it's we know what you can do right now. Is there a chance that if we give you more freedom and more responsibility that you will rise to the occasion? And that's what we need to just let it roll.
Because that's my worry with, let's say Jim Boylan. Let's say he goes to the Bulls, just again. That's a guy that wants to win games because he's trying to keep his job. Yeah. So if Cam Reddish is hurting the team, goodbye. If Lloyd Pierce sees this team can make the playoffs, he's going to be well, Cam Reddish, if you start hurting your team, because let's say Cam Reddish was not good at Duke last year. I don't know if you looked at any stats. He's been really bad. But if you look at...
some good games. A couple, but
He hit a game
He
winner.
is the only player that I think we've ever talked about in the top 15 that shot under 40% from the field, under 40% from three, under, I think, 70% from the line.
I mean, like Nasir Little.
True. I know. I think no, he was a good field goal percent.
Actually, yeah, you're right. He actually had a solid field.
Cam Reddish was just bad.
Yeah.
So that's the thing is like you give him to a team that can just let him make mistakes. Let's see what you can do. Like you can't frank him. You can't have him start, pull him out, have him start, pull him out, sit him for 2 games. You need to just keep him loose, keep him playing, keep him fresh, keep him in the lineup, keep him off ball, keep him on ball. Just let him do anything out there to find him and get
to
him
find
to
himself.
have a rhythm. Yeah.
And I do apologize, Nasir. 48% from the field, 77 from the line. You're a much better shooter.
I think Cam was decent from the line, but like he's just the guy that I worry about. Like if he gets. If he goes out there and performs poorly from the field, shoots under 36% from the field, under 34% from three, and is an under 80% shooter from the line like he was, and he is out there not able to add something to the team, I feel like he can get benched.
Well, and the thing that I personally think with Cam Reddish that I think will be different in the NBA is Duke was a different monster. I know that we all say like, oh, these kids decided to come together. It was their decision to say, hey, we're all going to go to Duke. But there's a difference in like, hey, this is a good idea. Let's go ahead and do it. And then you actually start doing it. And you're like, wow, this is not a great idea. Like, I'll give you an example. When I was in college, there was a radio show I did where it was like, hey, you and I should do a radio show. Then we actually started doing it, and like 2 shows in, I'm like, wow, this is a terrible idea because we have no chemistry with each other.
Yikes.
Like, that's exactly like with Duke. I'm not saying they didn't have chemistry with one another, but it developed into the Zion show, so he's the number 1 scorer. Then you have RJ Barrett, just because of who RJ Barrett is, he was going to be the 2nd scorer on that team, even though he could pass it out to Cam, and Cam just got relegated to the third option, and like, okay, you're going to be the 3 and D player. And I feel like he never got enough into a rhythm to be consistent. Where like, I look at the Hawks, and even if he is in the starting lineup, yes, Trae Young is the dominant ball handler, but Cam Reddish could be the number 2 on that team.
Yep.
And then even Trae Young, when he drives in, could kick it out to Cam. I would say Trae Young could kick it out to Cam better than RJ Barrett did at Duke.
I don't disagree with that, but why would you kick it out to Cam Reddish for a lower chance shot when you kick it out to Kevin Huerter, who has a much better shot? You can dish down low as a handoff to John Collins.
I mean,
like
there's options.
Here's the thing that I don't agree with is the fact that Cam Reddish couldn't get in a like consistent, like he wasn't consistent enough that like getting shots and looks consistent.
When
enough.
he got
12 shots a game.
When so many got great, like, but
he was shooting 7.5 threes a game. Like he was getting looks.
It's what kind of shots was he getting, and that's the thing. Where it's like, if it's just like, all right, stand on the corner and we'll get it to you. Like he might get 12 a game, but if they were
standing in the corner,
but I'm saying like if they were spaced out shots, maybe he was a guy that maybe the missing link is Cam needs the ball in his hands a little bit more.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
He needs
like,
to create for himself.
If he goes to Atlanta, where he's not getting the ball in his hands. You're not taking the ball out of Trae Young's hands because he is the creator, he is the scorer, he is everything for that team. There is no reason to take the ball out of Trae Young's hands to hurt your team to give it to Cam Reddish, who may be good with the ball in his hands. Maybe.
I would
asterisk that
I'm not going to say what I'm going to say.
Secondary ball handler, because Trae Young gets doubled a lot because of his size. So they do need someone who can physically dribble the ball around on that court because currently they are desperate for that. And because of Taurean Prince's inability to stay on the court.
And I don't know if that's Cam Reddish, though.
I agree. I don't know if he's the answer, but it's worth a shot.
Because then you look at Culver. If it's between Reddish and Culver, give me Culver.
Yeah, 100%.
So, like, I just don't see it there. If it's between RJ and Cam, give me RJ. It's just, I don't know if he has enough to help the Hawks in the way that you think he does. I don't know what he is. I don't think he knows what he is. I don't know if he's going to be a 29-game scorer. I don't know if he's just going to be a lockdown defender. I don't know if he's going to be a main ball handler that can dish out for assists as a wing. I don't know if he's going to be this all-around god. I don't know if he's going to be out of the league in 3 years. I don't know what he is, and I think putting him on Atlanta, who knows who they are. Atlanta has an identity. They're trying to build up. They're trying to create something in Atlanta. They have this identity. And they're going to make him try to fit a mold because you're trying to fit into the players that they have currently, which makes sense. You're trying to build a team up there, right? If you put him into that mold, you're already locking him in. Cleveland does not have a mold. It's the Colin Sexton and Kevin Love show right now. You look at Memphis. Memphis has Jaren Jackson Jr. and Mike Conley, but they don't have a role. They just fired their head coach. Cleveland just fired their head coach. You look at who's the other team I throw out there? New Orleans. Yep. They do have Alvin Gentry out there, which will help him grow. They have Drew Holiday out there, which will help him grow. But they're losing the face of their franchise. That is a place that he can step into, and there is no guy that he has to answer to.
And
if he goes to Atlanta, he has
Memphis.
to answer to Trae Young.
You said Memphis also. I think that might have been Dave, though.
No,
I threw Memphis.
he talked about it.
Okay.
Because they don't have a guy right there. They just fired their head coach, so they don't have. He has the ability to take on any identity that he wants.
So I said I wasn't going to say it, but as you were talking, I'm going to say it anyways because even though it might come across as a stupid thing to say, it's basically for the conversation and for the reaction from people of you mentioned earlier in this segment for the Atlanta Hawks. How does that fit? Or Dave might have said jokingly of how does it fit the Warriors system? Because really the Hawks, that's what they're trying to model. What if the Hawks see the potential in Trae Young being your Steph Curry, Kevin Huerter being your Klay Thompson player, and then Cam Reddish with his shot from the outside and his ability to drive.
Don't it.
I'm just going to say it, the Kevin Durant. I'm not going to say that great of a player, but that role on this team where it's like you look at the Warriors, are they making? Yes, Kevin Durant is the top 5, top 3, top 2 player in the NBA.
One of the best mid-range shooters of all time.
Asterisks next to that.
One of the most unguardable shooters of all time.
Put up 27 points in college.
They have two.
Was literally the most dangerous college player.
They have 2 ball handlers on that team, and it seems to work. So
yeah, you want to pull up his college stats?
You can go ahead.
That's why I
got college people
throw
right
that
there.
out there.
I got it.
Let you nibble at it.
Well, I'm not nibbling.
Even because that's the thing I thought when you're like, well, Trae Young's the ball handler. Well, Steph Curry's the main ball handler, but you still got Kevin Durant out there who's a ball handler.
You had the option.
Like you got room for more than one.
You had the option of saying that and not saying that, and you fucking said it.
I threw it out there to the universe, to the MVP universe.
Kevin Durant was the
it's not
best
do any
player
help
in college
no, I know.
in 2006,
Oh,
2007.
I'm not saying they're the same player.
Scored 26 points per game. Grabbed 11 boards.
No.
Had 2 blocks, 2 steals.
Here's the thing.
40% from 3.
You're taking it and saying that I think Cam Reddish is going to be Kevin Durant. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that what you said earlier about 2 ball handlers on that team.
Oh,
I did.
I said that. He said Warriors.
Yep.
I don't think that's a huge problem because obviously the Warriors are making it happen. And yes, I know that different caliber of players, but they're making it happen. Because you got Kevin Durant and Steph Curry who are both ball handlers. And yes, Steph Curry is selfless, which plays into it.
But KD isn't a ball handler. He is a guy who's an ISO guy who can, like James Harden and Chris Paul are ball handlers. Like those guys, and I know Harden's massive ISO guy, but also he's clearly shown that he has point guard skills. When Chris Paul's out, he can be a point guard. So I don't really see Kevin Durant as a ball handler. I think what Dave's saying is you need a guy who can step up and run the offense for your team when Trae Young's getting double teamed. Yeah. When you want to run Trae Young off screens, you need a guy who can handle the ball. LeBron James and let's say Lonzo Ball, those are 2 ball handlers. Yeah. Brandon Ingram as well. Those are 2 ball handlers. Elite. Right? Kyle Kuzma is not a ball handler just because he scores a lot of points and has the ball in his hands.
One of the worst 3-point shooters in the NBA this year.
So I just look at Cam Reddish, and I don't think he has the identity. I don't think we can call him a ball handler. I don't think we can fit him into a Kevin Durant-like mold. I don't think you can put him into that mold at all. I think he's moldless.
So you don't think he can be a guy that could run an offense if you need him to?
I don't know what he is. And I think you need to let him figure that out. That's what I'm saying.
We don't want to put caps on players, but at the same time, I don't want to give the idea that he can be a top X player in the league by showing us nothing. Like it's like saying Quentin Grimes deserves to be a starting shooting guard on a team in the NBA next year. He's showing me nothing that tells me that. Like there's no reason that I would make that assumption because everything I've watched out of you in college was we really over-evaluated your talent coming into college, or you had a really rough year, which means, physically, yeah, you could build into it. Like, you had decent size, but, like, you didn't show me in the game that you deserve to have that high of a praise. And I think that Cam Reddish he has a great NBA body. He has He checks off, all the athletic ticks, but at the same time, when you put him on the court, he just can't finish. It's just he doesn't have a complete game yet. He's underperformed shooting. He's underperformed defending at times. Like, he's inconsistent as all get out. Like, he can be a very good defender when like I said, when he's engaged though. And it's just he's inconsistent. And because of that, I can't put him in that category.
Yeah, the only thing that he's got for him is his 3-point shooting. Like, that's the only thing that Cam Reddish you could say like he can be successful at. But everything else he's bad at. Like, he wasn't a plus defender when we thought he could. He has the body to be a plus defender. He has the body to be a guy who can be an all-around wing. But having the body doesn't mean anything. And Georgios Papagiannis had the body to be a center. Marquise Chris had the body and athleticism to be a forward. They just didn't have the talent. And that just might be the case with Cam Reddish. We fall in love with traits. We fall in love with body. But, you need some production to help you out. And that's the thing is, I'll give Carson Edwards credit. I bashed him in the last segment saying that he's too small, that, he was going up, he only put up those points in the tournament because he was going up against teams that benefited his strengths, right? But he still produced. I can't look at a single game and say Cam Reddish produced. But against, top-tier talent. He put up 23 against Stetson? Congrats. I look at his one big shot, too, Florida State. If he missed that shot, he would have fallen five ranks. He hit a wide open three.
I will say this though.
He had one game
against UNC. Out of all three of us in this room, you were probably the most hyped after that shot, Sean. I'm just gonna throw that.
Yeah, because I want the kid to succeed. I don't want him to suck. And the fact that he hit that three, I was like, Cam Reddish is turning it around. He finally got it. Zion's out, RJ's in here. They went to Cam Reddish. He hit the three. He's going to gain his confidence, and he sucks still. He's really bad.
Well, and that's really the big question for me. And I don't know if we're just throwing it out there because we can. Is it because he was with RJ and Zion what capped him? Or what gave him the struggles?
If they didn't have those two players on a team and this was Coach K's offense modeled around Cam Reddish, yeah, we would have seen something completely different, I think.
I think we would have seen something completely different, but that doesn't give
we didn't, and we're not gonna ever. Yeah. That's the problem.
And also the thing too, after that Florida State game, he shot 34% from the field and 31% from three. He wasn't.
That's his average.
He didn't turn it around. No, it's worse than his average.
Yeah.
He became worse after hitting a big shot. I worry about Cam Reddish, and if he was away from Zion, if he was away from RJ, that would have been interesting. Maybe he turns into this great player, and that's why I'm get him away from anybody who has talent, anybody who is anywhere near a star in the NBA. Kevin Love isn't a star anymore. Colin Sexton's a very intriguing prospect. I don't know if he's a star or was just on a bad team. He needs another year to really prove it to me, but he was really incredible and really phenomenal at the end of the year. I think that's why those two are such an intriguing pair. Mike Conley has never been an all-star, probably deserving of one, but he's not going to get one anytime soon. Jaren Jackson is so raw that I think he would fit next to him. And you look at New Orleans, it's Drew's there, but outside of that, they have nothing outside of when they trade AD.
Is there anybody who you think could trade up for him if he falls past 6 or if he falls past 6 or 7?
Stupid too.
Okay, so you
think a team would be stupid to trade up for him?
Yes. I think if you need to trade up to get somebody who has it. You look at it and you're just wow, that guy is an all-around great basketball player.
Okay.
And we were talking about him just being you talked about him, Ricky, as being a possible steal. You could also throw him in possible bust as well. He is such a question mark, and it's not a good question mark of just what is he? And I don't see a team. And do you have a team in mind that would trade up for him?
I was honestly just tossed out the hypothetical because as a 3, a lot of teams like wings. I know Boston's got the amount of picks, but I don't see a need for Boston to take him.
No. And he's going to get buried immediately.
Yep. So I keep going further down. I'm Philly could realistically, if they still have draft capital.
Big spotlight to step into. You're stepping into a playoff team, Philadelphia, who's most likely going to re-sign Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler. And if they do that, then they're going to have the eyes on them of, all right, this team needs to make it to the finals because now it's time to complete the process, or at least push towards it.
Yeah.
So I think Philly's too big of a market, too big of a stage for him to really push towards that.
Could could Cleveland trade up with their second first-round pick? Or perhaps Brooklyn with their second?
Brooklyn maybe, but I don't really.
They got
understand
17
the
and
fit.
27.
You have Rodions. Like
Brooklyn.
Rodion's a 6'9", so he's at the moment a little bit bigger, a little bit longer.
Brooklyn
Good
to me is
athleticism.
going to target free agents. That's what I think.
Well, they're getting Kevin Durant. Duh.
Well, that's what
they're
they
also
think.
gonna have to re-sign D'Lo.
Yeah.
Here's the team I'll throw out. Let's say he falls outside of 9, and I know that's a little bit. If he's like, let's say they're at 11. If I'm the Pistons, maybe the Pistons and the Lakers make a trade where the Lakers go, hey, we can get some draft capital from the Pistons. They can get Cam Reddish. We can go down because maybe Tyler Hero is still there where the Pistons are. And we want a shooter for LeBron. And maybe taking Tyler Hero at 11 might be a little bit of a reach in how the draft is playing out. So, like, for me, that's a trade I see where the Pistons could maybe trade up if
Pistons
he
have a
goes
need.
low enough.
I could see that. Pistons have a need. Obviously, draft capital attached or whatever value. Because I mean,
He
like,
wouldn't have pressure on him.
they've already
because
made one deal
Blake's
between
the
them
guy.
too. So you've got that front office relationship. At that one could work. I don't know. I think he's just such an interesting prospect that I wonder if he falls that somebody's like, I can make that work. The like I can fix it attitude of like, you guys don't see what I see in him. I can make this work at this point. Just give me the capital to make it work.
The last team I want
He's like a
developing
startup
prospect though is Detroit.
Oh, I know.
Like when was the last their guy to develop? And even then, Drummond really has. I mean, Drummond was an 11th pick, and Drummond's a fantastic rebounder. But
He's
even
the best rebounder since Dennis Rodman.
You always just question, like, I feel like this guy can take another step. Like Drummond's just a guy that really hasn't even hit his potential, even though he's been an elite rebounder.
I would agree. I think that he's got a lot of game he could grow into, and we just haven't seen him take that next step. But I mean, I do like Kennard there. I think Kennard's been playing really well. But again, like how much of that is going to be on their system? How much of that developing his talent? And just the black hole that is Stanley Johnson in their system. I don't know. That's a team that's had some ups and downs, but they've got a great head coach now. Maybe they have a better supporting staff
like if
to
we're
bring
looking
those.
at Detroit though, this is a playoff team. If they're trading up, why not just take PJ Washington?
I mean, why would you take PJ Washington? Like, you got Blake, unless you think Blake's totally done with all the injuries.
No, I'm saying to play the 3.
PJ Washington
PJ's a 4.
cannot play
think
the
PJ
3.
can play the 3.
I disagree.
I say he's a
not that
3.
slow.
I
PJ's
mean,
not
I
that
say he's
slow.
a 4.
I think he's just built out physically. I don't know if he'll have the lateral movement to keep up with threes. Defense. He's a bigger guy. He's like 6'9", isn't he? 6'10".
6'8", 6'9". I mean, Cam Reddish is also 6'8", 6'9". It's not really about the height.
feel like
it's more about can he defend threes. And
Yeah.
I think he has that ability. I think we look at him and he's a little bit slower, but we also have to wonder when that injury kicked in for him. When that ankle injury, that foot injury really kicked in for him. I still think that he really didn't tap into his potential enough. And yes, he's a bigger guy, but it's just an NBA body. He doesn't need to get bigger or anything like that.
Yeah.
He's already got an NBA body, and he came in as a 5-star recruit. I mean, he has athleticism. I think he has enough athleticism to stay, as a 3. I never looked at him and was like, wow, this guy's getting blown off the blocks. At least defensively.
I don't know. That's wild. I'd not even considered him being a 3 ever. So I don't know. I'm a little taken aback by that. I'd have to watch some of his tape to give you an honest answer, but maybe.
Because I mean, I think at least you look offensively. I mean, he. I can understand where you're saying. He could be a 4.
He fits my model of if I want a stretch 4 who is big, strong, he can still play low, but he also has the ability to take threes. Like that's why I value him so much more as a 4. As a 3, and now I have to reevaluate.
I think he's good
what are the
off
tools
the
does he
dribble.
have?
I think he can shoot from the outside. He can shoot from the mid range. I think that he has the ability to take up his game a lot more because when you're playing at Kentucky, you're trying to fit a mold again. Like you're trying to step in and produce. This is a guy that took his game up another notch when we look at his freshman to sophomore year. And he's just trying to fit a mold for that team. I still look at him as an athlete, and I think there's room to grow for him. I think that it's not just a guy who is going to be a post player or a guy who's going to immediately take the ball from the outside wing and drive in. I think he can create it for his own or has that at least ability to develop that.
No, that's a twist.
You know who I'd really like him to go
talked about
to?
this before.
No,
Like development.
I've thrown him out as a 3.
literally never.
You know who I'd like him to go to development wise, but I don't think they make a trade up to get him?
They won't.
San Antonio. Like I look at that, Rudy Gay's up. Like, will they sign Rudy? Like
San Antonio trading up is that
Fuck that guy.
favorite?
Fucking
But I mean, he's a guy, like, not he's a guy. That's a team where it's like, you talk about development, why, like, the guy who has struggled in college, why not see what Pop can do with him? The only thing is, does he shoot too many threes for the Spurs?
They've got the best 3-point shooters in the league. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean,
they don't shoot them often.
Yeah, Patty Mills shooting threes.
No, Bryn Forbes.
Yeah, and Forbes.
And Bertrand's.
But I mean, like, DeMar DeRozan's not shooting any threes for them as their main guy.
He's no longer their main guy.
They could be a team. Well, I mean, LaMarcus.
It was always LaMarcus, and next year it's going to be DeJounte Murray.
Okay.
Mark my words.
That's right. DeJounte coming back. But that's a team where it's like Sean mentioned the Pistons in development, and I was like, man, the Spurs could use one, but where they're at 19.
There's no chance he falls out loud.
And I don't see a reason for them to trade up.
Yeah.
I mean, they like wing is one of the things, but also it's like, could you just get a center at the first pick and then a wing later on with the 2 first rounds that they have?
You'd attack forward.
Yeah.
That first spot.
Either or, depending on who's there.
You have Jakob Poeltl, and then you have Bertrand, who's a bigger forward.
Yeah, but if Goga's there at 19, I would think about maybe
Aldridge
Goga first.
I don't think Goga lasts to 19, though.
No, I'm just saying if he is.
Yeah, Tankathon has him staying at 19 right now, going to the Spurs. So, I don't know. I think they've got options. I think that's a team that, honestly, I've got guys ranked way higher on my board who could go there. But
to put the final kibosh on it, though, who's your one team that is like, this is the best fit for Cam Reddish? I'm going to go with the Atlanta Hawks.
Cleveland. Dave talked me into it.
I talked myself into it. Cleveland.
Well, this is where you guys come in. Let us know what you guys think. What's the best fit for Cam Reddish? And also, what is your thought on Cam Reddish? Because like when I see articles about him being the biggest enigma of the draft, he truly is. Because it's like, is he going to be what the Cam Reddish supporters believe he's going to be? Is he going to be what the Cam Reddish haters believe he's going to be? Or is he just going to be somewhere in the middle? Like, nobody knows what to expect from Cam Reddish coming out of this college season. So let us know what you guys think down below in that comment section. Also, I want to throw out a shout out really quick. I know this wasn't a Hawks best fit, but Benjamin Galloway for the last few weeks has been 2 best fits for the Hawks. And we talked about the Hawks pretty much a lot in this one. So I wanted to throw out Benjamin a shout out. But let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section.